So we welcome to our NfG stage a man who is walking proof that natural selection doesn't always work. If ignorance is bliss, Noah is certainly one of the most blissful characters you could ever meet. Don't let Noah fool you by his appearing like a complete idiot. I can assure you he's far from complete, and I'm sure he's missing quite a lot of things. He was booked for today, not just because I'm his agent, but because of some of the amazing testimonials which show just how he has moved his audience. I felt motivated to get up and go within just 5 minutes. He made me really question my life choices. I felt great after I left. Having Noah there really made me look good. And after spending just 15 minutes in his company, it made me appreciate being myself so much more. Touching words. So, without further ado, let me welcome to the stage the man of many questionable talents, no offense.
Am I on mute? Oh, there we go. I did my hair specially. Can you hear me? Give me a quick thumbs up. Okay, first of all, let's have a quick show of hands, everyone. Let's have a quick show of hands. That's great. I just wanted to check that you'd all wash them. That's brilliant. Thank you. Well done. That's fantastic. Okay, right. Firstly, thank you all for inviting me to speak at your Christmas party. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. I nearly had an accident on the way here, actually, and you're actually very lucky to see me. Not because of the accident, you're just very lucky to see me. Um, I was actually promised some light snacks, but someone sent me a flavored candle. All I can say is be careful what you ask for. Right, I just need to get a better agent. I always get nervous at the start of talks, and they say it's useful to picture your audience naked, except when obviously you're presenting at a school, because then you should just be on a register, right? Anyway, this place is different, and the room is filled with many inspiring entrepreneurs from all over the globe on this spherical world that we live on who are determined to make a real difference. I was taught it's always good to find common ground and relatability. My parents are cousins, but that's not the relatable I'm sure that you mean. So let's start by me telling you about some of my own careers in pursuit of finding the right choice for me. For those that don't know me, my name is No Offense. And for those that do know me, it's actually still the same. When I was a child, I wanted to be an astronaut. And many say that I would have been a disastronaut. But like all of you, I was always keen to change the world and make a real difference. And what better way than being an entrepreneur? Did you know that the word entrepreneur comes from the French entrepreneur? No, it doesn't. It comes from the French entrepreneur. I can't even say it, from the 1500s, which actually means to undertake. So technically, we're actually all undertakers. It's true. I started my entrepreneur journey at an early age of about 4 years old. And my parents used to play hide and seek with me a couple of evenings every week. And I'd always win 10 pence. When they began, I'd go to my bedroom, hide under the blankets, lie really flat and really still, and stay really, really quiet. I'd hear them getting changed into their nicest clothes, and then they'd go out looking for me. And sometimes they'd be out for hours. You'd hear them drive off in the car, and they'd be back hours later, and I'd always be in bed waiting for them. I always got my 10 pence. It really did pay off to have that patience and persistence. But I think maybe that they just used me as my own babysitter, but that's a different story. By the time I was in my mid teens, I'd managed to save up a whopping £3,000, which I actually used to pay for something I'd dreamed of for a long time, a round the world ticket. I don't know why I bothered though, because I just ended up exactly where I started. I guess it would have been nicer to actually stop off somewhere en route or at least have a window seat, but you know. Then with my hide and seek track record, I became a camouflage equipment tester. But I kept losing all my stock, so I had to find something else to do. Then came my entry into the world of sales. I met with a florist Well, I was really impressed with how they could actually make the giving of decaying plant tops to someone you love for them to just watch wilt away into a really compelling product. And then repeat the process to the same customer almost every week. Genius. But that product wasn't alone. I came across many products that could go from no way to a no-brainer in just a few words, and people would happily buy them, even if they could never make use of them. I mean, just think of the proven fact that two-thirds of people who pay for gym memberships never actually use it. It's a bit like the DIY meal boxes, which is like a regular supermarket delivery, just three times more expensive. Yep. Or worse still, are the gift vouchers with a company with an expiry date, which was paid for with money which had none. But the fact is, people can make products really compelling, and I like the thought of that. So I tried the idea with misfueling cars. Yeah. But I thought I'd think ahead of the wave, right? Because all of these people had petrol or diesel cars and they'd accidentally put the wrong fuel in and it would be an expensive repair. So I thought I'd do the same with electric cars. Then I realized that they're all use the same type of electrons. And the response I got from the bank was just far too negative. So instead, due to growing popularity, I thought I'd actually start a roadside business of a car hand wash. People drove up, I offered to wash their hands, and they looked at me funny. And I even offered to sing them happy birthday. That just didn't work out either. Then I thought I'd become a corporate whistleblower for a company that made dog whistles. There was even a scandal about the sound of our high frequency dog whistles, but the upper management just refused to hear it. So I moved on. Then, in my entrepreneurial journey, I even offered myself as a freelance light bulb changer, as I kept hearing how many people it took to change one. But it's really not that difficult. Just remember to turn them off in case they're hot. Then I started up just after COVID about an online seance business. I thought that could be good, right? Because basically, apparently, I've got a special gift. Apparently, I'm a medium, but after a holiday, I sometimes creep up to large. Then I go back down to medium again by cutting out the carbs. But my first one of these didn't quite go as planned. I loaded up Zoom and I heard all of these voices from the other side saying, "Is there anybody there? Can you hear me? Give me a sign." Then I realized I was just on mute with a very bad internet connection. But they weren't much better either, because all I could see were these silhouettes in the dark, and I told them move into the light, and they just disappeared. So that was that career out of the way. Then I had another sterling idea, right? I thought what I could do is I could transcribe audiobooks. Yeah, sounds good, doesn't it? But then I realized that they're actually just called books. So then I moved towards a different passion of mine, animals. I met this dolphin in the wild, right? And we just got on so well. We just clicked and whistled and clicked. Yeah, it was great. Which then took me into the career as an animal tester, a freelance animal tester, but without opposable thumbs. They just kept dropping the pens. So it's really not that fair. Besides, they do unspeakable things with the paper. So I moved off from that one. But with my history with the whistle factory, I had a growing interest in motivation. So I thought about becoming a dog trainer. Yeah, because, carrot and a stick, there's only one problem. The dog really liked both of those. So I didn't know what to do. And I gave up and I moved on to something else. And then, like, because I'd actually got some work at a fertility clinic, I was actually offered a job with P&A bears. I don't know if any of you ever heard of that. I'd never heard of them. P&A bears. And it's no wonder there's only 2,500 of them left in the world. Yeah. Oops, there they are. So I was a P&A bear assistant. And but picture this though. I mean, it really wasn't a job I could do long term. Yep. I was working with this vet and we were basically encouraging this pair, Bamboozle and Pandemonium, to get all romantic. And we had to hold them in place. But partway through, the vet shouted across me, says, "The mating's failed. I've got my hands full. Can you quickly take over?" That's where I drew the line. Yeah. I thought I've got to get out of this enclosure really fast. But the fertility side made me actually think about it's not about finding a solution sometimes. It's actually about prolonging a problem in business, isn't it? When you think about it. So I started selling these blue pills online and to stand out against everybody else. Yeah. But I decided to create a novelty range with phallic shapes. But apparently, a lot of men said it was quite difficult to swallow. It's a really hard industry. Yeah. And I decided instead to move into gardening with some Miracle Grow, but again, that took me back to the blue pills. So I decided to become peak performance coach instead. From all of that, I decided to focus on the body. And I got an interview to help train people up for a triathlon. And I said, why try? We should just do. I didn't get that either. So I moved from flabs to abs and I bought 20 kilos of gym equipment. I couldn't even lift it. Yeah. And then I decided that maybe stage magician was my career. Yeah. So I loved mentalism. So I'd like you to all join in with me and think of an odd number, right? Okay, think hard of an odd number between 2 and 4. Yeah. Most people choose 3, but there's actually one person that chose 3.14159265 He just wanted to keep the pie all for himself. Anyway, also, yeah, my cousin had really bad Tourette's and he used to shout out playing cards. But then I realized, yeah, he was just playing tricks with his mind. My career continued. I actually went into becoming a grammar correction specialist on Twitter. That didn't work out too well. I did get quite a lot of following, yeah, but I couldn't get rid of them. And I had to find a different career instead. And it's amazing, though, that people still can't actually call it X without whispering Twitter under their breath. Try it. It's really, really, really hard. Then I decided that my future was not actually in body development, but was actually in personal development. And apparently I completed it in record time like nobody else. Yeah. Because my coach, my trainer said to me, there's just nothing more I can teach you. So I thought I did really, really, really well and decided to become a life coach. I decided that that was my future because people used to say to me, how are you still alive? Then learning about applied psychology, I became a psychotherapist, which, oh, I think I might have typed that slightly wrong there. And probably some of you might not have ever noticed that before. And I decided to specialize in hypnotherapy. And I did an online course for an hour and everything, right? And it worked really, really well for my first few customers because I had a client that came to me with agoraphobia, the fear of being outdoors. So I hypnotized him to become a Jehovah's Witness. That worked. I had another client who came to me for me to help them with their eyesight. They've been paying me for years, yeah, but I'm not sure they're meant to be. They just couldn't read the small print. And I've got a client who wants to stop procrastinating, but I'm still waiting for them to book their first appointment. But I've even had a client who wanted to give up cold turkey, so I bought them a microwave. With Wendy, who you've all met, I've actually become a best-selling author with a real book. Oops, there it is. It's actually a real book, believe it or not, a reflective tale. Before I actually started writing product reviews for people, I even became employee of the month. Being self-employed, you think that would be quite easy, but it took me a long time before I thought I deserved it. And now I spend a lot of time as a speaker. Yeah, because I actually run a non-profit. It's not supposed to be a non-profit, but well, maybe next year, eh? And most of my time is spent as a Class D motivator. Yes, a Class D motivator. Yeah, and I can sometimes work as many as 7 hours in a week. Yeah, and I should be certified because that's what a lot of people say to me, but I kind of have found my zone there. And many people, as I say, feel so motivated that they get up and go within just seconds of meeting me sometimes. But with you guys, you haven't done that, so I guess I've just got to work a lot harder. Yeah, and the future for me could well be AI. I mean, we all hear about AI, and that's not just somebody from Blackburn down the road. Yep, it's actually a type of technology. Yep, and with the growth of AI, many people are even scared. But I've got a real classic idea that I think was really going to pay off. Yeah, I think it's amazing myself, right? And I'm going to sell myself to AI, right? I'm going to be the person that's going to then go on there and help them out a lot because I'm going to offer to click that box for them when it says, are you a robot? See, I've got it well thought out. I could even be an AI therapist as well because AI doesn't have a personality. So immediately we've got common ground there as well. But my varied careers have taught me many, many things, and just how cross-transferable skills are from one industry to another, and how our many experiences make us uniquely placed to offer something different. We're not the same. So you've got to find something unique about yourself and embrace it. And if you need to reinvent yourself, you've seen how I've loved to do that over the years. And there's many other careers that I've done too. I even worked as a photographer, developing engineer. Yep. And apparently I was too focused on the negatives. Oh, yep. And then I worked at an STD clinic and I was apparently too enthusiastic about the positives. So I couldn't really win there either. But speaking about positives, I've been asked by my agent, who's telling me to get a move on, yeah, to mention some of the lovely and generous and positive members of NfG. And just like my passwords, this room is filled with special characters. And I can hear you all exclaiming. The other day on the spot, though, I tried to come up with a memorable word for my password, and I came up with the word Todger. That's Todger. If you're American, you might want to Google it, but don't look at the images. But unfortunately, yeah, when I put it into the site, it said that my password was too short, even with the exclamation at the end of it. There you go. Unfortunately, though, I cannot mention everybody at NfG, even though it is a Christmas party, and I would love to. And so I've randomly picked a few people from my list here, and in no particular order, other than the one that I've got in front of me. Let me start with the lovely Jalpa. Now, Jalpa focuses on helping to educate young people about how to manage money. And apparently, she's got a real passion to start with the education early, which I don't quite understand since most of them don't get up till the afternoon. Then we have Santa Mike, aka Henley Santa, who is with us today, as we've seen, although he might have disappeared by now and fallen off his sleigh. Apparently, he did actually confess to my agent that he's rather partial to a bit of reindeer. I just hope he doesn't get the munchies mid-flight. Yuandi, who loves to help people feel rested and relaxed with her sleep sprays. She's been an amazing, amazing advocate of NfG for over 5.5 years. Please do give her a round of silent applause. And rarely misses a week. And on the rare occasion that she isn't with us, I do wonder if she's been sniffing her own lavender sleep spray a little too hard and has simply drifted off. See, we know these things. Rest is important, even as an adult. And I often say that I sleep like a baby. I wake up startled and screaming and sometimes soil myself. Then we have Jen, who isn't with us today, the Brit from Norway, who this week lives in Sri Lanka. Her and her lovely husband, Steve, will be in Portugal for Christmas this year before heading on to new global destinations, probably Mexico. They basically often compare numerous events around the world, whatever the time zone, meaning they often work completely around the clock. So I think that maybe they need some of Yuandi's sleep sprays too. Then we've got Robin. Apparently she's wild. So I'll be looking her up afterwards. I won't bother mentioning my agent, Richard, who must be rich by now, the big cut that he takes. So, we'll cut him out of the equation. Apparently, he works with a lot of good causes, and apparently, I'm a lost one, whatever that means. And let me finish with a thing about the humble Sindra, the Norwegian with a British sense of humour. He's a man of many talents. He can play numerous instruments as a cinematographer and a passionate PTO entrepreneur. Yes, that's right. Dedicated to understanding the secret of innovation from successful big names like Shazam's Diraj Mujuri. That is a big name, isn't it? Oh, I would hate to say that after a few. With Procubates, an online business school dedicated to entrepreneurs, he works with companies to not only help their products become so compelling that they sell themselves, but he actually guarantees their business success. I also just hope that he guarantees to pay my bill. And if I haven't mentioned you, it's probably because I've been laughing so much when I wrote this all down that I just can't read my notes. NfG has welcomed many great people over the last 5.5 years. And typically, NfG tradition is to have a mini quiz, which we're going to squeeze in very, very shortly. But since the start of NfG, we've had the world making lots of changes. We've had China solving the recycling problem. It's called Timu. They ship all their plastic here. We've had the rise of artificial intelligence, but I refuse to talk about American politics. Hey, Shell. And we've got a global transformation where we're all embracing AI. Crack down on cybersecurity to double lock the front door, and then we paste our intellectual property into the back door by GPT. And so AI clones, I think, is the future. Personally, I think it's probably better to clone somebody else other than myself, because imagine what you do with 10 of me. Yeah, they'd all spend their time sitting around watching Netflix and eating Pringles anyway. So I think I've had more than 15 minutes, but what I'm going to do is hand back to the studio and say thank you all so very much for me being here. All I can say is if you've enjoyed any of this, then great, do tell others. And if you haven't enjoyed any of this, please, I wasn't here. Back to you. Thank you so much. Am I still on mute?